Welcome back to Provision Entertainment. My name is Sundermun. Actually, those are my pronouns. And this is Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And Molly has arrived, but she's not feeling well. And I'm going to look around for clues.
Doing notes from a mistress. Sorry, mistresses. Intrigue's desk.
Ah, yes. The old man had a wandering hand. And
I didn't know. I didn't think.
he didn't want you to. It was his secret to keep.
This letter. Someone wanted us to see it. From Rome went an order of heretics who worshipped the relics of a time before Christ.
Erke, this was the letter he told us about. Said it contained fearful news about London.
It warns of free such heathens who have infiltrated London. His killers, I expect.
Ooh. Odin cite me. What do we got?
Find anything?
Besides enough blood to repaint the city's faded bricks. No.
Oh, I did some Animus shenanigans earlier, Molly. That was pretty... I'm happy that happened. Come on.
A barber surgeon's tools. Sharp and precise for easy butchery. Must have been what was used to free Trigger's head from his neck.
Three sets of footprints leave. Two average, and one massive.
Ammo's full. Ooh, hello. It looks like someone was in the rafters, like a bat. See, if Spider-Man comic books have taught me anything, it's that bad guys don't look up. So I look up a lot.
I do not envy this man's death. Hang on, there's something in his hand. This was not Trigger's seal.
No, it looks Roman in origin. Must have been on a ladder he opened.
It must have been significant to this god for him to grasp it, even in death.
Perhaps it's what got him killed.
I think I have a clear idea of what happened here. Trigger was shot where he sat, probably as he read the letter.
Oh, this is neat.
One of his guards grabbed the seal and tried to escape. He didn't make it. A second killer found him first. He met his end at the noose, lifted by the bigger man. A third attacker took his eyes, then came for Trigger's head. Symbolic, maybe. Headless leader, eyeless guards. The killers were without fear. This kill was a message. Their footprints leave together. 3 sets heading back to the courtyard. The letter mentions 3 heretics, named only by monikers. The Leech, the Arrow, the Compass. Signed by someone calling himself a poor fellow soldier of Christ.
Poor fellow soldier. Odd name.
3 names, 3 killers, as you said.
Baldersack. It could be anyone in London. Who can we trust?
Only the people in this room, I fear.
Even that would be unwise, until we know more.
Arrow is described as a pugnacious Dane invader. That describes too many in London.
The Leech hails from Wessex. London is home to many of them as well.
And the Compass, a Frankish captain.
Less common, but no face comes to mind.
What is this symbol here?
I recognize that from the Mithraic temple. I passed it on the way here.
What's a Mithraic temple?
Mithraic temple. Is that a church?
A church? Heavens, no. Mithras was a pagan idea. A so-called god beloved by the ancient soldiers that built this city.
Interesting.
Our city is overrun with cowards. We may be next to fall if we don't resolve this sick fermentation of hate.
I've told you, this city answers to blood and power. We should serve as such.
I can't leave him like this. I need to.
We'll get the church to see to it, Stone.
No. No, it should be me. I must ready him for judgment.
I understand. Only get some air from time to time. It reeks in here.
Hmm.
Shall we, Broga?
The guard hung from the villa's order clues. Oh, I knew that was going to be order shenanigans. Let's check out what we've learned. Valir. Oh, hold on. Valir spends some time browsing in the market. Okay. The Keel. The Keel is a Norseman who left Regic Fell, and the Keel is a bearded man. Well, that doesn't really narrow it down. The Compass is a Frankish sailor who leads this sect. The Compass is large and strong. Compass is a large dude. Got it. Anvil, I don't think this is related. Investigate the smithy next to the circular ruins in the grounds of the St. Albanese Abbey. Well, that is a big screen.
Well, now the locals have caught a whiff of this fatted mess. The temple is yours to explore, Eivor. It's to the east of here. I must wear my Reeve's face for a time. Keep away! Keep away! The fight is over. Town Hall will follow soon.
Alrighty. Well, Molly, yeah. Trust no one. Everything is permitted.
Should the Reeves change their minds, I will have to gut them and put a puppet atop London's throne. But Stowe seems a good man. I will trust his word.
Well, I'm already planning replacements in case these guys don't work out. Nice. Walls and shadows. Find the entrance to the temple. Is it not the front door? Oh, look, there's a bunch of guys in there. Well, I guess I'm going to kill them all. Also, up is probably not the answer, but I always look up first. Hey, bud. Whoa, Skull Crusher, I'm sorry. What life bar did you have? You had notches. I don't appreciate your notches. It's not my fault. He had a red name. So, the game told me to do it. Odin told me to do it. Out of curiosity, how close am I to the Assassin Bureau? Maybe I should go look into that place. I still didn't tag it.
The Temple of Mithras, well guarded for a tangle of old ruins. I need to find the entrance.
Well, that looks like the entrance right there, but you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna go double check and make sure I can't get like an alternate route to this story point. Because we tried to do those things in Odyssey where you could like do like alternate takes to missions. There was one mission I found 3 endings for just by quick loading and testing things, and that was really cool. But the problem with Odyssey doing that is that it was so haphazard whether anything was going to have that as an option that you never knew when it was an option. And again, back to what I was saying, what is now the last recording, one of the things I dislike the most about the last 3 Assassin's Creed games is that it gives you choices. Like, I know it's an RPG and it gives you choices, but 1, it's not supposed to be an RPG, and 2, giving you choices doesn't make any sense when there's a certain assumed continuity of history that has happened in your universe, and you're, yeah, it's a lot deeper than I was expecting. And it doesn't make sense in context. Gotta do with a key. What is happening? Where am I? Maybe I'm not supposed to do this yet? Ah! Why are those bats doing that? Those are bats, right? I don't think they're real. Londonum Bureau. Well, entered from above, just like I used to do in Assassin's Creed 1. Molly says, well, most of these games are very vague on what the present is. I think that's the point. You play the past and decide the future or your present. Let me break that down. No. You see, Molly, the framing device is that you are jumping into an animus, a device that allows you to experience historical events through the genetic memories of your ancestors. Or, as the series has progressed, the genetic memory of just people's genetics, even if it's not your own ancestors. So, no. The story happens a certain way, and that is the key to how it works. So, it doesn't make sense for you to be given any choices whatsoever, because that's how history played out. History played out however history played out. Now, caveat to that, one of the excuses we made in, I think it started in Assassin's Creed 2, was this idea that while you were experiencing past events, you in the Animus didn't always experience the memories in chronological order. So, for example, Ezio Auditore, he always upgrades the villa, and he always upgrades it to maximum, and that is a thing that he does, but the way that you do it in the game only is the memories of it's happening, and not necessarily happening in the same order. But that is not the same thing as picking different dialogue choices, to have different dialogue trees, to have different events happen, like we've started doing in at least Odyssey. I can't remember if Origins did it much. Like, that's completely different. Most recent games have made it so that you can actually change the events of the story that's happening in the past, which in the context of Assassin's Creed and the framing device of the Animus doesn't make any fucking sense. It just doesn't make any sense. Excavation order, caveat. All currently serving Hidden Ones are hereby ordered to vacate these premises should you wish to continue our great work, but make your way to the Bureau in Cologne. You will be welcome. Magister Vitvis. Opere in tenebris vits limifish. Okay, that's, I'm sure that V is actually... Is that V another A? Something is weird about that. I don't think I can... Yeah, that's a locked door. That's a locked door with the key behind it. I don't know if I'm supposed to be able to get in there yet. I mean, you know, feel free to disagree and all, but 21 games in or whatever the hell, like, you don't... Okay, excluding the possibility of time travel, which they actually mentioned, I don't remember when, I think it was Assassin's Creed 3. Okay, so I have a ground level entrance to here. Okay, so I have a ground level entrance to here. Okay, I just wanted to look into that place. I don't know if I want... Well, actually, there's probably more plot in that back room, isn't there? Let's give it a good look over from the top and see if there's a way down in. I was gonna move on with my day, go back to the plot, but, like... This is the part of the game I actually care about, the assassins. So... That and, you know, the construct of the present day stuff with the Animus. Just so I can remember how much filling in that I might have to do with my answers, Molly. How many Assassin's Creeds have you played? Let's see here. You say, I'm not saying that you are changing the future by having options. The past stays the same, but if you are in the mind of the ancestors, they thought about their options and had to make choices, you know? Well, yes, but that... How to say? Okay. In the bottom left corner of the screen, I have a life bar. That is something we started doing eventually in the games, and it's one of the things that aggravates me. We shouldn't have a life bar. We should have a sync bar. A sync bar is what we used to have. I don't remember when we started calling it hit points. It was relatively early in the series, I think. But the idea of the sync bar is how much of a accurately awesome badass are you being as your historical ancestor.
Need to cloak myself here.
With the understanding that if you're getting hit in combat, you are not being accurate to your ancestor. So sync bar was functionally a hit point bar, but it wasn't. So if for example, Molly, you were given dialogue options that you could pick and choose as you wanted to throughout the story, but picking the ones that your ancestor didn't choose lowered a sync bar so that things were a little bit screwy and out of place, and gave you the option to, for example, rewind and replay the memory again so you could pick a different option to increase or lower your sync to get different playable experiences. That would be kind of cool. Because you do have some puppeteering control over the character you're playing as far as the technicalities, the way the animus works. But the problem is that the game gives you no feedback that isn't what your ancestor did. So you're right, they did decide to make choices, they mulled over things, and one of the things we're talking about with Ivor here is that something is wrong with the DNA of this character that allows Layla in the present day to experience different iterations of things that have happened in the past, even though those things could not have happened. And that's cute and all, but it's also really vague. It doesn't really explain anything. It doesn't really give you a construct to explain why there's multiple choices. I'm not saying there's not a way to do it, Molly, the thing that they're doing. I'm just saying, thus far, their explanations have been lacking because of what I'm saying, which is, you can't have choices because historical events are historical and they happened a certain way. And the most we've ever smudged it is by smudging the events that happened. For example, in Assassin's Creed 3, there are side missions you can do on your ship. Those side missions, when you start doing them, have a year that appears on screen to indicate when the mission is happening, which does not have to be the same year that the events you're doing in the main story is happening, because you did them before or after other things. But the game lets you know, oh, you're doing this map, you're doing this naval mission, but it happened in this time period, not the time period that you're thinking chronologically. Oh no, my potato. My potato has interrupted me. So I think a lot of the naval missions and stuff might happen in the early 1500s when the majority of the game happens in the late 1400s. I don't remember. Oh, hello, what's this? Read. Mysterious tree branch. A tall tree branch is up on the aqueduct. I saw someone jump from there once. I'm too scared to go up there. I'm sure it leads somewhere. Oh, they're talking about the Assassin's Bureau. Like, it's just... Some series can get away with lore drips. Like, Dark Souls. Find the entrance to the temple. Okay. Dark Souls is filled to the brim with lore, but its lore is also...
Best not to draw attention here.
But its lore is there and thought out, and it's more about the player discovering it, rather than it... Oh no, that guy is going up to investigate the body. There must be a ladder. There is a ladder. Anybody want to investigate that body? I'm sure you won't regret it. Can I jump forward? I can. Well, somebody saw me. Okay, now we're throwing lots of axes, guys. Well, that was kind of brutal. Man, I wish this game was fun. Good grief. One little mistake. That whole thing about archery being uninteresting watching somebody play in Skyrim or long range in Fallout, like, that's the problem is that when your game, artificial intelligence is stupid but also really strong, like, you just go through the path of least resistance. Arrow to the sun. The hell? Wait, why can't I kill this guy now? Oh, hello to everybody who's watching. Did I lose you, Molly, on the... Like, I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense, or you just... Like, I don't want to be, like, confrontational or anything like that, but, like, I get pretty worked up about how much Assassin's Creed no longer lives up to what it was. And it's really bothersome. Red mask? Noted. Oh, that's a big guy. That's a big old guy. Who saw me up high? Is that memory... Is that right there? I think that's right there. Oh, hey guy. Oh, you a big named guy. I don't want any of that. Molly says it makes sense. Yeah, I'm not mad or offended either. It's just... It takes a lot to upset me. I just don't think you understand what I meant, and I don't know how else to explain. I'm eating tacos, and it's messy, so I don't really want to touch the computer. Alright. Well, here, let me just reread what you're making that choice whether you're watching them come to terms with their choice. I don't know. I think I understood, Molly. But the problem is, like I said, the game doesn't give you, the context of, no, that's not what they chose. It's giving you the impression that what you're doing is what they did, even when that can't possibly be the case. Because there shouldn't be
around here.
there shouldn't be any choices, right?
What is going on now?
There should only be the way it happened. Like, okay, starting in Assassin's Creed, I'm pretty sure Brotherhood.
Hold there, you!
In Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, in addition to being given your objective of what you needed to do, the game gave you an optional objective that was for better sync, which amounted to, yeah, you can play the game however you want, and the game will basically, the narrative will stitch around what you're doing, and it won't become illogical. But if you do it this way that we're pointing out, that's really the way that your ancestor did it. And again, like, that would be fine. Let's see, Molly says, that's what I mean. You are watching what they did, which is also the way it happened. The options are not to say you had the ability to change the past, but rather emulates their contemplation. Okay, but, counterpoint, Molly. That only works if you accept your choices don't matter. That's the only way that works. If you're going with the concept that you can play out this memory in a certain number of ways, giving a certain number of dialogue options or certain plans of attack, and the only reason it works out is because history doesn't have a defined way of doing it, but you're trying to gain sync with your ancestors, so do it however you please. If we're going with that, then the opposite side of the equation is the problem also, which is either you're giving people choices and those choices will change history that doesn't make any sense because history is set, or you're giving people choices to play out, but in the grand scheme of things, it's player choice to experience something in a certain way that's vague in the past in the genetic memory of their ancestor, because it doesn't actually make any difference because the memories will go on whether they are completely accurate or not. And I kind of don't like either one of those two choices. As far as them making sense. Because it's an, I guess you'd say it's an extra step to wasting time. Whereas when you have the memory construct, ooh, that is a nice night sky with no... Look at that! You can see the Milky Way with... I love historical nighttime. No city lights screwing everything up. It's beautiful. Do I want to finish killing guys outside? But I don't set off an alarm later? Maybe. Shh. Okay, I think I'm going down this way. Hey, I got a ration. Find the entrance to the temple. Investigate the temple. Who's behind the order? Molly says it still matters. You as the game player make the choices and the changes the game, you make them. Your choice is the truth, and you pick the completely different option, then sure, the future will be different, but you don't know that as the character because what you choose as the player is the only thing the character knows. But Molly, that's not how it works. Like... Yeah, you... Okay. But Molly... This isn't... a video game. It's a historical event. It happened. And the only way it happens some other way is either you don't know specifically what happened, it's not in the genetic memory strong, so you're filling in the blanks, or you're implying that that you could make choices and that they could affect the future, which isn't how the games have worked for until just recently. Like nothing you've done has changed the present day events of Assassin's Creed. Nothing has changed what has given the context. Okay, a historical event as in real life or as in only in the game series? Okay. Backing up one step. I'm sure you know what a framing device is, but for anybody who doesn't know, a framing device is when you have a story that you are telling a story from. It's how you get to one of my favorite narrative designs, which is unreliable narrator, which would be the implication here. An unreliable narrator is a person who is telling you the story and events, but they are skewing them to how they tell the story and not necessarily to how they actually happened. One of my favorite examples of this, very low-key, very, very, like, not pay attention and you'll miss it, is there is a priest who is telling the events of a Final Fantasy Tactics. Spoilers to a game that came out in 1997. But there's a priest in the present day who's researching these historical events and telling you the events of what happened in the story. And he's very, very particular about the details and making sure he gets as much as he can right by historical events. But, the thing is, he lived through one or two of the historical events. And any of the maps in which he is a NPC that is on the cast in the story, he has the most powerful holy magic and saves your ass. And if you think about it, the only reason that makes sense is because the guy is telling the story, and so he's flubbing up, he's increasing his own power through the course of the story. But in the context of Assassin's Creed, nothing you ever experience in the historical events of the game ever change the present day. So by that logic, they happen, they're set, that's how they are, and nothing changes them. Back to your question. So who is behind the order? There don't appear to be bad guys down here. Let's look at this.
The compass holds sway over the others.
He has ordered the Arrow to recruit archers in a market to the west. Worth a visit.
Arrow, we must increase our strength to stage our coup. Drum up some support from the layabouts in the west market. Archers are needed in force. We need them to man those new springards you're so enamored with. I will return when you send war of your success. Compass. More order clues. Nice. Maybe I'll get to take out 3 guys. Examine.
Tools for searching, finely crafted, like we found in the villa. And there is a letter here, arranging payment to a blacksmith.
But that brings me back to an earlier question, Molly. Like, if you don't mind saying, how many of the Assassin's Creed games have you actually, played? Because I don't want to be talking with an air of, you would know this if you'd played them. That's not what I'm trying to get at. But, I'm trying to figure out how much context I need to have, how much I need to explain, because, you know, there are like 20 games in this series. You played 2, but you don't remember which ones you played? Well, almost every game in the series has a different main character and setting. So if you could remember that part, I might be able to help you narrow it down. Ooh, a chest. Britain Shield. You're sure you played the first one? You don't remember a lot about the second one you played. Okay, so you played the game with Altair. You played the original, maybe on 360, like the original Assassin's Creed. Okay. So, you get that the story began as a means for characters in the present day, the Templars of the present day, or in this case, the Order of the Ancients, for them to try and narrow down the location of a piece of Eden, a majorly important historical relic left over from the Isus, the Ancients, the ones who came before. They go by all those names throughout the course of the series. And in getting those pieces of Eden, they will have basically super powerful alien technology. So, even from just the first game... Excuse me? Even from the setting of the first game, you know that the events that you experience in the genetic memories are set. They don't change based on the events you do them, even though, even in the first game, Altair running around the town doing mini missions, collecting information, is not necessarily... You and another player might not always do those in the same order. And that gives way to... That gives way to what I was saying, which is, like, the problem with these more recent games giving you choices is that it doesn't make sense in the construct that you don't have choices, that history happened a certain way. Remember collecting different suit colors, too? Well, you've been able to collect different suit colors since 2 or Brotherhood. That's been a decent fixture of the series most of the time. So unfortunately, that doesn't really narrow it down. I thought you said you played Black Flag. Do you remember? Were you a pirate? Were you Italian? Were you Native American? Were you British? I'm not gonna push the issue. Like, there's a lot of Assassin's Creed. Oh, hello. Okay, I didn't actually mean to throw the torch, but it worked. Hilarious. Watched a friend play the pirate one and hated it because it felt very much not like Assassin's Creed, because that's why I didn't like Black Flag. Well, okay, I didn't like Black Flag also because it was buggy as hell on current generation consoles at the time.
Messages between the leech and the compass. Healing, gutting. The leech is a strange one, but the compass calls the strikes.
Well, you have to keep in mind, Molly, that Assassin's Creed 4 is the first time you're playing as a character in an Assassin's Creed game who has never been an assassin. He doesn't become an assassin until technically like the last third or almost end of the game of the plot. So Edward Kenway is a pirate, not a... Man, the screaming is really loud to me. Okay. Orders from the Compass. Governor Trigger means to interfere with our work. We must eliminate him now and make a grand show of it. Take his head if you desire and serve his eyes to the river eels. Compass. His head and eyes will remain with me, for they greatly aid my work. We are the wet machines of an early age, and there is nothing about us that cannot be improved with effort and pain. Leech. Return to Stowe and Eric. Oh, hello. What's this? Liberi Antiqui Decorum.
I'd
Let our
have to go on for now. Erke and Stowe must see all this. I see more bloodshed in London's future.
What is all this screaming?
Soon we'll feast.
Let our wretched origins be known. We are the instruments of the ancient gods. We are the refuse of the ancient world. We are the hope of an era reborn. Oh, that's all true. Let our great task be stated. We are the shepherds of our Creator's will. We are the curators of our Creator's tools. We are the new masters of the world they made. Let our loyalties be clear. The Father of understanding guide us. The Mother of wisdom inspires us. The sacred voice fills our hearts with boldness. Let it be known. The wise men and the old and women of the Order of the Ancients are the natural arbiters of the world. Let all those who oppose us perish in pain. We are everywhere, and we are eternal. In the name of Mithras, the last warrior, go forth and dominate. Reclaim the world that is ours by will. May the Father of understanding guide us. Fucking Templars. Ollie says, you missed my comment earlier, so I'll repost. I remember getting weapon upgrades or something from, like, Leonardo da Vinci or something. Oh, okay. Well, that narrows it down. Leonardo da Vinci is the tech wizard dude for Ezio Auditore in Assassin's Creed 2 and Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Otherwise known as Assassin's Creed 2 too. There's a lot of screaming down here. So, it's got to be one of those two games. When the game started, did your uncle say, "It's a me, Mario"? If he did, that's Assassin's Creed 2. If that didn't happen, and you're instead escaping a villa
This place
in
is
a
heavily guarded.
an escape sequence that bleeds through into Desmond in the present day, then instead, that's the opening to Brotherhood. All these people up here should be dead. Are any of these actually below me that I should have already grabbed? 59 up. 49 up. 51 up. So they're all up. Yeah, I didn't see your thing about Leonardo da Vinci, so thank you for re-saying. Come on, go up, Eivor. Chime? I heard chime. 32 over there. 77 down. Oh, those are all down. Hey, just like Ezio, if you grab it with your hands, it doesn't hurt. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Alright, reality. That's clearly not the dirt. Stop it! Stop! Stop! What the? Go in there! No, stop. Go in there. God damn it. Hey, supplies.
Blinda wadla on
I don't have explosive arrows yet. Saw a pot of explosives somewhere, though. Was it over here? Yes. Excuse me. Thank you, little barrel. Please come with me. Ah, damn it! Fucking damn fire! I got hit by invisible fire. What? Okay. What did I pick up? I wasn't even paying attention to what I picked up. Supplies and silver. Okay, the next story event is not that far away. So, for anybody who is watching later on YouTube, I thank you for watching. This has been Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I have been Huntermun, and I will see you in the future.